All right, ladies and gentlemen, so swiftly moving, or I would say flying from one panel discussion to the other, we have the next lot of speakers and esteemed guests over here ready. So quickly, ladies and gentlemen, this one, the panel discussion that's all set to take place right now, it's about TV versus digital marketers' take. I repeat the topic for the panel discussion right now. This is about TV versus digital marketers' take. There's been this ongoing debate about TV versus digital, what's working, what's not working, what is working, how much, what is not working, how much, for the longest time, I would say till eternity. But I believe the experts over here are in the house, and what better than them to give the marketer's perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll first quickly call on stage our respected moderator, and then I'll be calling on stage our speakers over here. Ladies and gentlemen, to moderate this session, we have Ron Crasto, founder, Redfox Media Corp. Give it up for Ron Crasto, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. And he'll be joined on stage by Ketan K. Bharti, brand and marketing consultant, Abhishek Joshi, industry observer and expert, Aakshaye D. Vyass, Vini Cosmetics Media, Abhishek Kumar Srivastava, Vice President Marketing, Piramal Consumer Healthcare, and of course, Sonam Pradhan, Head Media and Digital Marketing, South Asia, Kellanova. Ladies and gentlemen, can't get better to discuss TV versus digital, the marketer's take. Ladies and gentlemen, I would say the final panel discussion of this year's TV Summit. तो थोड़ा और जोर से शोर हो जाए, please, everybody. If I may request people over there at the back, make some noise, lift up the atmosphere. Yes, that's how you do it. And I'm sure that charges up our moderator, Mr. Crasto, as well, with the engaging spirit of our audience. So I hope you're all set. Okay, perfect. Over to you.
Okay, everybody can hear me here? Aage, piche, side, beech mein, everyone. Thank you. Okay, in show of hands, did everyone see the Sunday final India-New Zealand? Okay, now in show of hands, how many people watched this on JioStar? Okay, now show of hands, how many people watched this on Star Sports? Okay, I can only see one hand, two hands, three hands, four hands, five, six. Okay, that clearly shows 95% of the people watched this on JioStar. So let's get the debate starting here. I mean, TV versus digital. I don't know who's going to win here, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of exciting things coming from this great team here. I would like to, all of you, give a great clap of hands for all of these guys coming here, please. A question to ask, is TV dying or is greatly exaggerated? In a world where everyone is glued to their phones, binge watching OTT platforms, scrolling in the night endlessly in Reels and Instagram, is there a room for old television? Okay, after all, cricket finals, breaking news, primetime soaps still have a power to make families gather in one room, or do they? Or even if just for a brief moment, everyone goes back to their small screens. But with digital platforms offering targeted ads, real-time analysis, and advertisers still getting the best bang for their bucks on TV, is TV slowly becoming a landline of the media world, or it's still there, but more of a nostalgia now and a necessity? Now let's pick these lines. Questions to you, all of you, Ketan, Abhishek, Sonam and Aakshaye, okay? With TV and digital, and today if you're given an opportunity to spend 100 crores each, how would you really invest your time, and how would you really come back and say, okay, this is my experience and this is what the way will go? So I would say, let's start with Sonam.
You've just thrown me a media planning question with a budget as well. And you want a media plan on the stage. That's a pretty fix that you're putting me in. So 100 crores, huh? Yeah. 100 crores.
Yes.
I'm more than happy to work out a media plan for you right now. No, but thank you for that question. I think it's a brilliant question to ask in this given scenario. Is TV as a medium dying? Let me take a step back, and if I may say, TV as a medium is definitely not dying. But as Charles Darwin said, you need to evolve into something better. And that's exactly what is happening. I believe TV as a medium is evolving. And the evolving has happened into connected TVs, into us watching OTT content on television. So therefore, for me, and probably I speak on behalf of all the consumers and viewers who watch it, the distribution for them has never changed. They're still watching content on television. Probably the medium in which they're watching, and for us, advertisers, the method is connected TV. But as a viewer, as a consumer, all they're watching is on, the 30-inch television that they just bought home. So TV as a medium is definitely not dying.
Abhishek, you have some different opinion? Hello.
No, I think I'll agree to what Sonam is saying. In fact, the way I look at it, or we look at it, is really about embracing the change, what is happening, and we are all going through. We just saw how people have watched the last match. There are, I think, what we should do, or what we are trying to do, is to follow content, and there are some content which are relevant for TV, and there are some content which is relevant for digital. That is one metrics, and that is one lens through which we look at it. And so the split of investment is actually dependent on that, as well as the kind of brands what we have. So we still, for mass brands where penetration or trials are a big job to be done on the brand, we still see TV playing a very critical role. And I won't take a number, but fairly high number on that, whereas categories like beauty, where there is large evolution in terms of the kind of conversation and engagement which consumers have with those categories, possibly digital is playing a much bigger role. So investment based on brands and investment based on what really is the job to be done is what is driving the split of the money. So there's no one single answer for that.
Aakshaye, you have something to say?
First of all, thank you for lending me your ears. These are my personal thoughts. And let me tell you, your question is also temporary and my answer is also temporary. Neither to generalize, glorify either of the media. See, TV versus digital, the way versus is, does not mean it is equal or unequal, right? For a marketer, right, what we have to be, or what we are currently, all of the way she said evolving, and the way he said it's very subjective to the brand. Your answer is, your question is actually very complex, and sometimes we try to oversimplify a complex question and we kill it. I'll take 2 minutes. First of all, TV versus digital, there cannot be any comparison of sort. See, when digital started, we all started doing comparison of efficiency, effectiveness, because it was new, right? So to sell something new to the advertiser, one created this relative context. TV is sample and extrapolation method. Digital is census method, right? Now suppose we divide this house into two halves. Everybody has got TV, everybody has got mobile also. Or, now the way you did the survey, half of them, or probably majority of them, watched it on say CTV. But the other half is a different sample altogether. You cannot do that comparison then say that, digital is cheaper or better or efficient and things like that, because you cannot do that kind of comparison. That is point one. Point two, as he also said that TV continues to, from an audience point of view, right, consumption point of view, a family is watching, 2 and more are watching, right? Mobile or connected TV, or not connected TV again, too many are watching, but say digital consumption is more singular in approach, right? So the impact of that communication on the consumer, right, is one big question. But having said all that, I'm telling you, future, digital is the emperor. Why digital is emperor? Only because it is going to take away, it's convergence which is happening, right? Which we were talking 20 years ago. Yeah? So for example, a chip is put in my brain, which is analog right now. Will my brain become digital, right? You got digital and you got OOH digital. How do you bifurcate at digital OOH as digital spends or things like that, right? So connected TV, the classical debate whether it is, a digital or is a extension of linear TV. So it's just to add both of them, saying what your brand requires, what is the consumption pattern of the consumer, where they are watching it. All this put together probably will dictate your marketing spend.
Yeah, I'll just add one very small point. One of the dichotomy which we see in today's time, it may not happen in future, is that all these online platforms, they're advertising on TV. So your Amazons of the world. So there is some role which TV is playing for sure, and it's going to evolve in future. So that is what we need to embrace. But the same Amazons and the same Swiggies are also advertising on TV, and they're advertising big amount of monies.
Ketan, you have a difference of opinion here?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I think the question in India per se will never be TV or digital. I think India is still an and market. It's TV and digital and X and Y. I think the second fundamental question is that why are we media first? Why are we not consumer first? What is the consumer watching? So I'll give an example. In my previous company, in India, the consumption pattern of a metro versus an India 1 versus an India 2 is different. So your choices are basis those consumption patterns. So in a tier 2 or a tier 3 market, and this I'm talking about 2021, 22, short format videos were still sort of, emerging. So my investment there was slightly under index in tier 2 and tier 3 town. My television investment was slightly over index. Whereas in metros, it was opposite at that point of time. Now, if I compare India versus the other campaign which we had done in US market, US the media mix was different. US, digital outdoor is huge. Connected TV is huge. So my investment is going basis what is the consumption of the consumer. It's not media first for me. If he is watching television for some reason, and if he's watching a match, if he's watching any impact property, my money will go there. Okay, if I get 100 crores, my money will go there. Okay. Overall, it's not versus. I think print as a medium is still surviving. It is still innovating, right? Always, I think 15, 20 years back, the debate was TV or print. Yeah. But print is still there, right? It is innovating itself. I'm sure TV will innovate itself. Connected TV is probably the way where television is going to get innovated. As we go along, our possible consumption of smaller markets will also be reflected on television. And thus the television industry has to do that. Otherwise, then it becomes really difficult.
So this beats me to a question. In today's age and time, if a brand wants to launch in a country like India and take HSM as a market, can I take a risk and say that I will launch only on television? Is there a market like this where I will say, okay, this is a brand and I only want to use television, I don't want to use digital? Do you see that risk and ability or that appetite is there with a particular brand? Yes.
I think that question is for me. So answering your question, and for once I would like to take a stand on this by saying that I do not think if I have to choose between television and digital to be the solest medium of advertising for a launch of a product, I think it would definitely be a combination of both. I do not think that one medium in itself in today's age has the merits or the demerits of being the only solest medium. Let's be honest, the consumer here in itself has multiple levels of media, attacking him. And that's the reason you need a media multiplier. And for the very simple reason, probably television and digital may not be the only two medium. that you use for a launch. And therefore, you need to have digital as a reminder, digital as some kind of impact. While linear could still be the mass reach driver, you need to have some kind of, a full funnel strategy that comes into place. Hence, for me, the answer would be a combination of both.
Akshay, your company has always been a TV darling, or most of the times in the past, and been spending a lot of money on television. Do you think you would take that risk of only launching on a product, only launching on television?
First of all, there is no risk in doing only television, and that too linear television. It's very simple. There are too many brands in our country, okay, who can do, see, basically what has happened is that we are not wanting to take a primary experience and build on it. We believe that, okay, so the answer is very simple. You can do it phased manner also. What your objectives are, you can do only television, right? Thereafter, you can, as she also said, that as a reminder medium, then you can take it up later on. Okay, that later on can be after a year also. It depends on what you want to do. At the same time, there are so many brands they have done in past when there was only television, right? They also flopped, even when there was no. So, again, I think what comes up is just one word I would say, that we all as marketers, okay, should do primary experience. It's primary data which is very important, how your brand is moving, and accordingly decide based on your budget, based on your geographies, based on your consumer insights. You can decide what, if you want an only one medium, as I said, even today, real estate, a lot of properties are launched only in print, right? So I'm saying, just to conclude, I can say that yes, there is no risk in taking one single medium, either of that. TV is still a huge reach medium, okay? And definitely, if you look at within TV, a lot of genres are there where you can build frequency, right? So, not to go with too much of noise in the industry, pick up your own signals. Over.
Ketan, what is your perspective?
Sorry, I was thinking something. The question was what?
The question was basically if you have a brand and you only want to.
हाँ, अगर 100 करोड़ है तो कहाँ डाले?
100 crore के पहले में, बाद में. But anyway, you are investing only on television. Do you think you'll take that risk and say, I don't want digital, let's do only television? My gut says TV is the best bet.
See, I won't take that risk. I'll be present everywhere where the consumption is. Second, if given a choice, possibly I'll first start with television. Even now, I'll tell you the reason why. Even today, television for brands helped brand building, helps advocacy, helps trust. People like us or people who are in India 2, India 3, when they see on television, there is an immediate trust. I don't know whether that trust is there on mobile or not, okay? There is a reason why a larger screen still has that pull as compared to the smaller screen. So for me, it will never be only television or only digital. I'll start with television first, so that I build the brand. Because at the end of the day, what do we want as marketers, right? We need to build a brand, right? You know, because see, again, within digital also there is a debate, right? Top funnel, bottom funnel, performance करे या brand करे. अब हम marketers हैं तो we want to build a brand first. Ideally, we would want to tell stories, right? For that, I will go with television and then possibly look into mediums which will help possibly consideration or possibly downloads, you know. So a mix of a brand like Kellogg's versus a Vini versus an app like a ShareChat or a Moj is completely different. ShareChat and Moj may say that, hey, you know what, television में शायद मुझे ज़रूरत नहीं है. Why? मुझे apps का download बनाना है, so I'll do performance marketing. I may not go for television per se, because that's how the nature of business is, right? Trust, okay? You know, there was this one article which I read that even Google ideally should not advertise, right? मतलब उसका search engine है, सब कुछ है, वो क्यों advertise कर रहा है? But there is a reason why it is doing it on legacy medium like television and print, right? It's building trust. That's what television does as compared to any other medium.
So Abhishek, everyone is saying TV. What is your opinion?
Yeah, I think I'm well aligned to everybody saying. In fact, completely agree to Aakshaye. he mentioned about trust. I'll mention about ad recall. TV sees at least 2 to 3 times better ad recall versus digital, based on some syndicated work done by Nielsen. And I think it's all about the kind of brand which you are launching. If it's a national brand, if it cuts across socio-economic class, then possibly TV is a good medium to start, or only TV also if the budget allows you. Whereas if the product is more belonging to a higher socio-economic class, more regional in nature, more urban metro, then possibly that may not be the only option, and you should evaluate a better mix between TV and digital. So I think that's how it is. There's no straight answer, and I agree it is not or, it is and for sure. Evolution is happening fast. People are talking about percentages. Couple of years down the line, percentages will change. I see the existence of TV for quite some time in future, but yeah, the environment is rapidly changing.
Question to you, Abhishek. Television has a lot of high impact properties. Cricket is one of them. You also have reality shows. But it's turning out to be pretty expensive. So a lot of brands decided, let's go only digital. Why take this high impact properties? Because it won't yield maybe results or expense or efficiencies. I mean, whatever you can think about. How do you take this in terms of your perspective for your brands? Tomorrow, if you have a brand launch, relaunch, or new brand coming in, do you think you are, you're good enough to actually wave that off and say, hey, I'm not taking cricket, neither I'm not interested in reality shows? Is it an important part of your, branding, marketing process?
Yeah, I think so. See, one of the way we are trying to evolve is because we are talking about mix of TV and digital. We're also looking at majority of the money is being spent on more premium properties or appointment viewing, where you know for sure consumers are coming and watching that content possibly on the big television. This could be a sporting event, or say a KBC kind of reality shows is something where a lot of people are coming and watching TV. That is now becoming an important part of the mix. But it is very expensive, as you rightly said. So that balancing is something which is happening. The way we are looking at is brand out. Some brands will get a better mix on the appointment viewing, and so larger spend going there. But for the rest of the brand, it's all about having the right balance of reach and the cost per reach, right? So that's what we're looking at. And digital obviously comes and tops it up in terms of some of the markets where TV is not reaching. UP, Bihar being some of the market where TV is not delivering the way we thought, right? So we are actually adding digital in our core media mix as well, right in the beginning.
Sonam, how do you see this cricket and reality shows? Does it actually give you the kind of caveat which you are supplementing when you are using for your marketing?
So when it comes to a launch, I think a perfect combination would be to have a spread on both the mediums. But I was, the question just got me contemplating and thinking aloud. When I come from a company where our consumers and our customers are both different people. So while our consumers could be a kid who's watching cartoon channels and they've been grown up on animated content, our customers are actually mothers who are probably glued to their mobile phones, or they could be watching some non-fiction that's happening on their serials. So we have to have a dual communication for both. Now certain merits that we do see in linear TV is the kind of content that gets audited. So the quality of content that you get on linear TV, for whatever goodness sake, is still something that's highly supervised, and that's the kind of content that I want my brand to be seen, and that is possible on linear TV. Unfortunately, yet we do not see that kind of governance that has come on digital, and this is a major hindrance for me, because I have to talk to kids, and I have to see that a lot of my brand safety content is also taken care of. And that's the reason there are certain genres such as kids genres and all, where we do see a lot of major investments happening from my brands. While digital will definitely play a major role, you have your impact properties, you need to build all your relevance on it, linear TV has still not lost its significance.
What about you?
You mentioned basically about impact versus the regulars.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the key thing. The issue out here is that impact, how, again, you know, on the screen there is nothing written like this is an impact for a consumer, right? IPL, the consumer is watching, they want to watch. As a marketer, I personally feel, and that's what our philosophy is, we do not classify anything as impact or regular. Okay? It's again to do with the sales aspect and things like that. Why it works far efficiently in digital is because in digital you are able to implement start, stop and continue at a greater scale. So on digital I can do a campaign which is 3 a.m. in the morning, and I can change the campaign 3 p.m. in the afternoon, right? Now that kind of flexibility is not there on linear TV, right? The implementation aspect. That's the reason why then one has to make a skew change saying, I will not buy more than 10% or 20% of impact and all that. But ideally for a marketer, see the earlier question and this I will just link. Yeah. The biggest risk is not media. Media is our partner for every brand to build. But our, the basic objective is that how do you then, you know, optimize within that budget and things like that, right? So it's not to do with classification of impact or regular. Right. And digital, everything is regular in a way. And if you buy everything inefficiently, everything is impact. So, you know, and just the last bit, television always under-delivers, and digital always over-delivers. So there is something, yeah?
Law of averages?
No, it's not law of averages. It's like this. People have been parroting saying that digital data is very transparent. No, it's opaque. Or other word of putting it is, digital is actually a mirror, saying, आपने ये plan बनाया, month के end में वो mirror आपको एक image दिखा देगा. Plan deliver हो गया. How is it that it always over-delivers before time? So I would say it is a cracked, to some extent distorted mirror, that data. And Bark is doing a great job on television, right? But Bark, again, other stakeholders have to agree. As I said, that unless and until the entire currency is unified between TV and digital under the same universe, same sample we are studying, right? If we are talking of two different samples and that two different research, it's never going to happen. So, I think...
Ketan, you have a different opinion on this?
See, 2 points. One is that I think impact, what we are talking about. 2025, 24. I think in 23 or 24 we had IPL split in television and digital, right? So IPL was on...
Closer to... Just speak closer to the...
Sorry. You know, clear? So IPL 23 or 24 was, I think, on television it was on Star and on digital it was on Jio. Both are impact, it's the same property. So what was the unique point for both the companies? I think fundamentally the television or the Star network was pushing that A, community viewing, B, cost per reach. Television as of now possibly will almost have, if not greater, equal cost per reach now, because the digital penetration has increased a lot in 2 years, right? It has amplified. So if it is a question of money, because again 100 crores, then I'm looking at what is the cost per reach in each medium as well. That's a lot of money, right? And then I evaluate the medium basis that, specifically in impact properties. Because the challenge is, in television, the narrative of impact property for the last 25, 30 years is nothing. It's only premium of that rate per 10 seconds. Otherwise, the television rating is almost the same, like any sort of fiction, non-fiction show. Oh, no? It's only that rate per 10 seconds, which increases, and hence it is defined as impact. Okay? And that's how the narrative of the impact has been over the years. So for me, first, fundamentally CPRP or cost per reach. You know, what digital is doing and what television is doing. So basis that, I'll see what needs to be done. The second is that, you know, every impact has a different set of engagement and an audience. So KBC versus an IPL, right? IPL is individual viewing. KBC possibly maybe be a community viewing because of the legacy what has been for 25 years. So for me, what is the job of my brand? Okay. Am I doing a personalized product or I am sort of advertising a mother brand? Like for example, if I have a mother brand called Dettol, I may use television or I may use an impact property like KBC with a mother brand. If I have a personalized brand like Dettol Squeezy, which is a 10 or a 15 rupees pack, then I might personalize it and use it IPL. Okay? Or if I have Durex, then I'll personalize it. It's personal, right? It's not community, right? So basis that, then I decide how I want to sort of place it.
So if this is the case where TV plays a very, very, very important role, how come TV doesn't have too much of innovations done so far in terms of branding? Okay, while digital has a window and we can do a lot of innovations, is there any examples you guys can cite through your personal experiences with the brands which you guys worked, so that you can tell the audiences what kind of innovations you guys tried and how it worked, and in today's stage and also today's life, it can continue to work? So can you, any one of you give your examples, per se?
I think that's a good question. While digital has always been, you know, the more measurement savvy medium that we call, while television has always been the reach medium as it is known as. You're right, you know, when it comes to digital, one of the biggest merits that it has is that you can have layers of communication to different audience. Programmatic comes into the picture, you've got CTV, you've got action-oriented ads, you've got creative dynamic ads that come into the picture. When it comes to linear TV, one of the innovations, if I may say, was more of a creative rendition that we had done. This was in my previous company. But when it comes to an auto client, the fact is that we embedded the QR code into the creative. And that's how we used the scale of linear TV and also saw to it that, you know, it had a much more larger audience in terms of going to another level, where if there was much more information that was required, which is more than the 30-second ad that normally goes on television, there was another way that the audience could immediately have a call to action and scan the QR code and go to, you know, download the brochure, things like that. So I think probably you need to have, if the medium does not give you those answers, you can probably make changes in your creatives and still try to use the merits of the medium without, you know, without actually negating it.
I will break this word innovation for both the mediums in two parts. One is technological innovation and one is human created innovation, you know, or the real creative innovation. Digital, because it's technology heavy, right? Lots and lots of innovations are happening and it's very active medium. Like, you know, you can immediately, you do your buy, which is say cost per acquisition, yeah, and you can get an immediate ROI through whatever innovation you are doing, right? TV, for that matter, has always been more individual driven, understanding the product, creating a narrative, and that kind of an innovation, which to some extent, I would say that, you know, moment the other side of the table, I'm not just saying when I say other side of the table, it's not like the client versus the media, but even the creative team, and so all the other sides of the table is around 360. If all of them, they put their mind together and think of a creative narrative, yeah, there is lot that can be done. Those stories, because finally we are all talking about those human stories. So technology part, I think, is now, since as I said that digital is the emperor because of convergence. Yeah? Even you finding now innovations happening in out of home, where people saw something live happening, live coffee being consumed and things like that. So I think it is on both the challenge or the issue or the opportunity lies on every side. A marketer has to find an innovative way of communicating creatively and through technology and optimizing it.
Okay, so Sorry, I'll have to go back because I just remembered one point what you were saying in the previous conversation.
Okay, okay.
And I'm sorry to bring that out because, see, television also now with BARC, everybody has to come together and have a unified currency. That's very clear. Otherwise, I'm sorry, but it will be a challenge for television. It will be in the next 5 years. And that's the response of all these larger networks to take it forward and discuss it and sort of come up with the transparency that, hey, what this is what the unified medium is. Sorry, I just wanted to bring that point, okay? The second was on innovation, right? Yeah. See, frankly, you know what? If I really sort of go back to my memory, at least in the last 1 or 2 months, I haven't seen any innovation, to be honest. Sadly, maybe I'm not consuming so much of content or media. But I mean, again, going back to print medium legacy, Swiggy, Swiggy had done this innovation of mango, where the fragrance of the paper was the mango flavor, yeah. So, I mean, you have to survive, you have to innovate. That's what it is.
Abhishek?
Sorry. And it also depends upon how the medium is going to lend the innovation for, About newspaper, it's really good, right? I mean, that's so close to what they are doing it, right? Now, each medium has its strength. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Abhishek.
Yeah. So, see, if you look at classical TV per se, maybe there is not enough of innovation happening. At least not that I'm seeing. But again, it's not a TV versus digital. There is a lot of innovation which is happening where TV becomes the starting point of the innovation. For example, last year with the quick com coming in, Amazon went ahead and it did an integration with KBC, and they said, while you're watching KBC, you go and scan something, which is the code coming on the screen, and then you go and type KBC, you get a chance to participate. If you don't have the app, you download the app, and n number of things were integrated back. Extremely well done, great case study. Their penetration went up while they're already on a pretty high penetration, but they wanted to do this, reach to the hinterlands of India because quick commerce had come in and quickly taken the share. I would still call it as an innovation where TV was one lead medium, which was giving you the reach, whereas digital gave you the digital tool to ensure that innovation can be brought alive. So that is an example of it is not TV only, but TV plus digital. And I think there are many examples, and I was reading through some case studies a couple of days back. There are many examples like that. Domex has done a similar thing in Kerala, and few other consumer brands, right? So only TV, possibly less, but I think we need to again look at not TV only, but TV plus digital, and there is a lot of innovation opportunities which one can explore. And as a marketeer, we have to throw out that thinking of only TV, but think of TV leading to something where digital comes in. Can you engage with consumers? Because at the end of the day, ad recall, brand recall, and the engagement with the consumer is the prime goal, right? That is what we're all running behind. So any form, welcome for a brand marketer.
Thanks. Now, in terms of connected TV, now it's the thing which is moving forward. Do you think that would become the future of advertising?
Definitely yes. That's a very, very strong yes that I'm putting forth. I think we were just chatting before our session, and I was telling you that every time I plan a campaign, my base of the audience and the households is dramatically increasing. Like probably a year and a half ago, we were sitting at 25 million. Today, when we are sitting, it's at 45 million. And looking at the exponential growth that is happening, looking at the audience that is coming in, and I strongly believe that it's no longer just an urban myth and an urban phenomenon. It's definitely gone to tier 1, tier 2 cities. There has been a lot of aspiration factor that has come into it, where you buy larger screen televisions, which already come inbuilt with a lot of apps. So a lot of our OEMs are also one of the reason why connected TV penetration is driving in. So therefore, definitely see a major future when it comes to connected TVs.
From a small base, connected TV has to grow, so hence it's growing. Yeah. It will definitely grow. There is no, we don't have to be a, an analyst to understand that. TV prices, smart TV prices have come down drastically.
Yeah.
Consumers are buying it. Apps are definitely there, free-to-air apps, YouTube being the biggest one, right? So consumption is happening over there. And last but not the least, so much of investment is happening to ensure that connected TV also gives you that kind of, basically data point in terms of who's consuming, where it is consumed and all that on a real-time basis.
Yep.
Bark has a lag. Yeah? So connected TV is linear TV and digital ka best of both the worlds.
Yes.
Right? So it is helping people. And again, it is to do with certain brands. It can be much more useful. For certain brands, it need not be all that great. The biggest advantage which connected TV has is that the inventory is again like digital infinite. Poor guy in TV is restricted to 10 plus minutes of advertising.
Yeah.
Right? They cannot do beyond that. Connected TV, you can have as much as breaks as you want. Right? So these are the things which are enabling the sales guy also to make it more efficient and effective for a marketer. So they become more friendlier. Right? And that's where they find a solve. Right?
Ketan?
So, see, no doubt it will grow. It's growing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, where connected TV is, I think 20 years back where digital was, growing at a rapid pace, 2x, 3x or whatever, because of cost, because of consumption and what we were discussing. I think any medium which possibly gives you the immediate result in terms of measurement is going to win the battle. So if it is connected TV, so yes, it's bound to increase.
Right.
Okay. As of now, I do see it that a lot of premium products are there on connected TV. Slowly and steadily, I am sure it will sort of percolate down. So connected TV is like the niche channel which we had in 10, 15 years back, right? That's what it is as of now. But yeah, it's going to increase. And again, I think Sonam was bringing this point, right, of governance.
Right.
That's very critical on connected TV.
Right, right.
Because you're sitting, a family sitting, and sadly, suddenly if you see a condom ad, so that governance is very important that, that has to be there. But yeah, I think where it's immediate result, that medium will automatically grow. Abhishek?
Yeah, for me, I think connected TV is definitely yes. And we are seeing the exponential growth. There are brands now who are building plans only with connected TV and social. The whole brand plan is, the brand media investment is built like that. And Aakshaye also mentioned about some brands are already doing it, and it all depends on what kind of consumers you are targeting and what kind of geographies you are targeting. One evolution, what I definitely see is that the kind of content people like to watch on big screen, right? For example, matches or video content. I was reading through again some data, and I think Mr. Adhikari also mentioned about 70% of video content are today being watched on large screen, right? So it may happen that eventually some kind of content people would love to watch on big screen, and so you will go to with those content to address those consumer household, whereas for the rest of the stuff where it is just scrolling and kind of stuff, still remain on mobile, may remain on Meta and stuff like that. So I think that is how the evolution will happen. But it is 100% sure that the numbers are going to go crazy. We're talking about 100 million households in possibly in the next 12 to 18 months. Yes, yes. So that's the kind of number that's kind of number which is going to happen very soon.
Thank you. We have our time up, but we would like to ask the panel just one line. I just need one line on television and one line on digital. What would you say your concluding point would be, and we will sum this up?
I think my one line on television would be, television is always the credible source of information. So therefore, credibility is the word that I would love to associate with television. When it comes to digital, and especially for connected TV, the word that I would associate is growth. Growth in terms of households, growth in terms of audience, growth in terms of the brand as well. So this is my one-liner on television and on digital.
Hey, for me, I think it is not about rivalry between a TV and a digital. We don't look at it like that. We are more towards using both the mediums in the best possible way. Evolution is going to happen, change is constant, so that is going to happen, but we want to leverage both of the platforms as much as possible. Be very content, consumer, and brand funnel, focus, which is really what you need to do on the brand.
Ketan?
So I think I started, right, and so television and digital, and they lived happily ever after. That's how it is.
Aakshaye?
No, not the last word. I've already said that digital is the emperor and convergence is going to happen. So if suppose entire billing, hypothetically, right, is done through a digital medium and everything is released on television. So now how do you classify that? So I'm saying convergence is happening, consumers are important, and progression by market, by day, everything is temporary. What we are talking today is immediately going to change. But however, I have not attended too many sessions earlier, so I just attended a small bit on content piece. I just have to say one thing, that it is content which is driving audiences. And on digital, there are so many people who are creating content, which means so many minds are creating content, right? On television, unfortunately, those days are gone. Today there's one mind which is saying, I need to make this kind of content. And that mind, I don't think so, is able to understand the mind of consumers, right? And hence probably the ratings or the viewerships or the impact. It's been, I like to watch this serial, and I'm not here to glorify or demonize anybody, but very fact, I'm all praises behind front also. Dangal has broken all the records. They have, content is what they created, right, with an inclusive approach, and they have challenged forget what model, what platform they are and all. Yeah? So they are able to connect with a lot of masses, right? So similarly, even Star has done with Anupama and all that. Not too many channels in GEC space. Hindi movies we are seeing, they are a flop. But finally, I'm saying content creation is what needs to be focused, and probably a pluralistic approach of content creation, which is what will drive where to watch.
On a lighter note, Aakshaye, you're saying digital is the emperor, right? Digital, who is the prince and king then?
Too many princes.
Thanks. With that, okay. Time is up, yeah. Sonal, Aakshaye, Ketan, and Abhishek. I think it was really wonderful for all you guys to be there. Let's give them a big applause. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just about them, it's also about our moderator over here. Give him a big round of applause as well, alongside our speakers. I'll request all of you to please kindly be on stage. I'll request Mr. Franklin Toscano, co-founder and CTO IWMBuzz Media, to please join us on stage and hand over the token of appreciation to all our esteemed guests over here. Give it up, everybody, for Mr. Franklin Toscano as well, as he joins us over here. Thank you so much. And always a pleasure hearing you with all the fun, entertainment, and knowledge that you bring to the